welcome back. Got another how-to for you. Today we are talking about wheel riding, unloading and loading, everything to do with off-snow snowbiking. So I'm going to give you some tips, tricks, how to ride with the wheels, do some stuff around the parking lot, maybe give you guys some drills that you can work on at home, and then also a little intro on how I load and unload my bike. And I don't have a sled deck here, but we'll talk a little bit about loading bikes onto a sled deck as well. So follow along, enjoy. Hopefully these tips can help make your day easier on the mountain. Now first off, when we're talking about the Yeti wheels, I want you to run the spacer that comes with it. I know a lot of people take off the spacer just because it's easier to throw on, throw off. But if you are riding with the wheels, and you actually want to, travel and ride, or if you have to ride a bit of gravel, you're gonna want that spacer in because it creates the right space so that the wheel's not slapping back and forth, and then also possibly rubbing on your ski. So that spacer is important when you are riding, your bike. So yeah, put the spacer in. All right, let's talk about how the wheels change normal riding behavior on a bike. Basically, instead of having one solid point, obviously you have two wheels, so it's creating this flat spot in the front that just doesn't act like a bike would. So if you think about a bike and how counter steering works, when you lean into a corner and turn, usually it helps lean in. But with this bike and with the wheels, what happens is when you turn, it leans you outwards. So the more you turn to try and lean into a corner, the more it leans you away, which causes that very weird, unbalanced feeling. It's very similar to how a jet ski behaves. You turn and it leans to the outside, so it takes a little bit to get used to, and there's not much you can do when you're riding on both wheels at the same time. So the main trick, or the main thing to do, is just try and stay on one wheel. Now with a little bit of practice, this becomes pretty easy. It's hard to do at slow speeds, but as you're riding, you lean and you turn the bars in towards the inside, and it comes up with it. And then from there, once you're on one wheel, it behaves much like a bike. It's actually surprisingly easy to ride on one wheel. Just gotta get it up there. Lean and counter steer up. So it's just a bit of a foreign maneuver. But once you get it, you can do pretty much anything. I've ripped third, sometimes easy fourth gear, like not wicked fourth, but just into fourth gear. Up gravel roads if it's nice and smooth gravel, and great way to save your skags, and great way to ride up in the springtime or in the fall. So good trick to learn. This will also pay off as we get into the loading portion of the video, because all the practice that you do here, obviously we're gonna ride our bikes up the ramp, and the more comfy you are on the wheels in the parking lot, the more comfy you'll be as you're riding up into a truck bed. So practice this stuff, go out and try it. We wanna do left turns, we wanna do right turns, figure eights, tight turns, try and get up in speed a little bit more, and wear a helmet. Bad influence, don't pay attention to what I'm doing, but just go learn it and spend some time on both gravel, on pavement. You can do this anywhere at your house, and start feeling it out. All right, let's talk about loading the bike into your truck. So the best situation is giving yourself a nice flat area for your truck, a grippy area for your bike. I mean, this is not always accessible. Sometimes you're loading on ice, which is it's doable. You got to use a little bit more momentum, which can be tricky when you're new. But for your first few times, make it easy on yourself, and just load it out of a dry parking lot or something like that. You can even load with a hill to give it a little bit less steepness on the ramp. Next, truck being level is big, because if your ramp is tilted, when you hit it with your wheels, the bike's going to want to turn, and then it's going to want to lean, and you don't have the ability on a snow bike with wheels to just lean into it a little bit. So if your ramp is this way, your wheels are going to be this way and your bike's going to be that way, and you're going to have to kind of fight it. You can do it, but you'll have to weight the inside peg and really push on the bars to keep yourself straight. So just something to keep in mind of. If you can have a flat spot, it's the best scenario. Approach, first gear, hand on the clutch. You're gonna have to kind of slip it up because you don't want to just pin it and go all the way into the back of your truck. You want to be nice and controlled, have a hand on the brake or a foot on the brake depending on what you run. It does help if the bike's warm because you're going to be close to stall point. So if you're loading in the morning, for example, and your bike's cold, they stall really easy. So warm it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be full run temp, but warm it up a bit. And then slowly come into the ramp. When you hit the ramp, if you hit it straight on, everything's going to be pretty relaxed, and you can control your lean just with your handlebar. If I start to lean this way, instead of like fighting to lean, all I got to do is turn the handlebars and it stands me up. Same with the other way. You get so much leverage in here just with the turn that you don't have to be weighting your foot pegs really. You can just stay straight by not turning or by holding it straight. From there, slowly bring it up. Use a spotter for your first few times. Have someone on the side just in case you stall and then tip over. It's a long ways down, so be mindful. If you're loading over ice and you have to jump off, that's very hazardous conditions. You might want to work on a dry pavement stuff first before getting to those more advanced loading areas. And then slowly bring it up to the truck. It's not about speed, it's not a race. The more in controlled and slowly it'll be, the calmer it'll be, and the less mistakes will happen. Hopefully this helps you guys. Next on, let's show you how to get it out of the truck. If I lean, I can just turn the bars. Alright, unloading. We're just gonna pull it out from the back. Now, I don't recommend doing this method on a sled deck, but if you're using a ramp setup like this is the best way to unload. Be careful that your ski does not hook the front of the ramp. Something to keep mindful of. I'll show you in a bit. Make sure you're in neutral, and the gravity will help do everything. So from here, I can balance the bike left and right. It doesn't take much strength. It's nice and slow. So pretty much just unloads itself. Stability, keep it stable, and when you get near the end of the ramp, sometimes the bars like to tweak, which can make the bike tip over. Practice, have someone around for the first few times you do it until you get your own routine figured out, and take it slow. Watch the ski on the front of the ramp, let me show you that. Now when I'm unloading the bike, you might have noticed me tilt the bike and kind of zigzag it. Let me show you why and what I'm doing. On this Caliber ramp, so this is the Moto Pro ramp by Caliber. Love this ramp, been using it for about 4 years. But most ramps this will happen. The ski on the Yeti for sure anyway, will get jammed under there. So when you lean your bike, you just kind of move it around there, just like that. And it doesn't take much, it's just a little bit leaned, but it's enough that you can zigzag around this piece so it doesn't get trapped underneath. And from there, that should be all the tips you guys need as far as this setup goes. Next up, let's talk about sled decks. All right, the dreaded sled deck. I don't have one here to load to show you guys, but every sled deck, let me tell you, every sled deck is different. And the biggest thing is the ramp. There's different spacing on every brand of ramp. If you're lucky, you or your friend has a sled deck with really tight spacing. I used to have one, it was X deck, I think it was. The ramp, super nice tight spacing, could ride the bike all the way up, no issues. Some of the other ramps though, they'll have big spacing between, which honestly I'm too scared to try and ride the bike up. Could probably do it, but it's sketchy. With this, just make sure you have good footing. I like to load the bike by walking beside it and having it running, and then having one person on the back kind of pushing down for traction and up just to help you, and walk the bike up from the side. On the way down, I don't have a handbrake, so if you have a handbrake you can use that. I have a foot brake and I have to walk the bike from the left side because that's all I can do. So I put it in gear and I just use the clutch as my brake and slowly walk it backwards. One person on the back, me on the handlebars, and just unload it. So two-person job generally for sled decks unless you have a ramp that allows you to ride it up. Remember, take your time, be patient. If you try and rush, that's when your mistakes will happen. And hopefully this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments if you want to know anything else about riding with wheels, anything else about yeah, this kind of stuff, or any more how-to videos that you have in your mind that you're struggling with out there. Maybe I can make one for you. This is Cody Matechuk. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. That's how we support these channels. And see you next time. Or maybe see you on the mountain. See you guys.